Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Inside View with Teddy Panos. I am your host, Teddy Panos from Inside Lowell, welcoming you here to our studios in downtown Lowell, the beautiful historic executive building. Excited today to bring you a couple of special guests, not our usual political, newsy affairs conversation, but this is big news for the city of Lowell. And as we like to say at Inside Lowell, if Lowell is your home, this is your place, InsideLowell.com. Going to introduce you to our special guests and tell you about the efforts they have undertaken to make our mill city an even greater city than it already is. We like to say Lowell is the best city of its size in the entire country, but it can always be made better. And a couple of folks are working on that right now. We'll tell you all about what their efforts are. First, I want to thank our sponsors for helping make the Inside View possible, including InsideLowell.com, our friends at Washington Savings Bank. You still have time, folks. Take advantage of their tremendous offer for Lowell and Dracut residents. Do $1,000 worth of qualifying direct deposits, a paycheck direct deposited, a Social Security check, $1,000 deposited into your account that you open with Washington Savings Bank within 1 month. They're going to give you $300, 30% return on your investment. You couldn't even get that in the stock market when it was booming. You can get it at Washington Savings Bank, plus many other small business, commercial, and personal services. Check them out, WashingtonSavings.com. Also want to thank our friends at Boston North Company, retail solutions, restaurant solutions, credit card processing, POS systems, digital signage. They do it all. And best of all, they are locally owned and locally operated. BostonNorthCompany.com. Also, of course, be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the two folks with their logos behind us here, our friends at Hafner's. It kicks, they kick. We're recording this, by the way, on a Monday, January 30th. Have you seen the weather forecast? It's going to get cold. The mild winter is going away. Don't take any chances with your home or your family. Hafner's takes the worry off your mind with their comprehensive home heating services. Whether you use propane or home heating oil, Hafner's offers quick, reliable, and friendly service. Plus, Hafner's gas stations, convenience stores, and car washes can be found throughout the Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire. Call 866-IT-KICKS, 866-IT-KICKS, or visit Hafners.com to learn more. And last but certainly not least, our friends at Reverie 73. Their mission to listen, explain, inspire, and delight. And they are the premier cannabis store in our region. They've got one at 1148 Bridge Street in Lowell. They're opening one in Beverly, one in Gloucester in 2023. Of course, you can always order online at Reverie73.com. Whether you're new to the world of cannabis or a canna connoisseur, as they like to say, the team at Reverie 73 is sure to elevate your cannabis experience. Thank you to them for making the Inside View possible. And thank you to our guests in studio this morning. I like to start ladies first, by the way, Nate, so don't take it personally. But Allison Lamey is here. She is the executive director of the Lowell Plan, and it's also, is it like the LDFC as well? You've got like multiple titles there, right?
Yep, that's right.
Welcome for your first appearance here in our studio. It's good to have you here.
I am really impressed with how much you could just like spout out there. I'm someone that needs notes, so that was amazing.
Yeah, I can talk. I have one gift in life, and that's I can just blab. Whether I say anything relevant, who knows? But that's what you're here for. Nate Robertson is joining us as well. He is with Mass Development. Yep. What's your official title there, Nate?
So my title is a Transformative Development Fellow here for Lowell specifically.
All right. And you and I got connected through a couple of very good friends of mine. Another Allison Dolan Wilson, and Danielle McFadden, yes, my office mate here. You folks did a leadership program together called LEADS. Is that correct?
Yeah. LEADS. It's a leadership program really started here in the Merrimack Valley, but has since expanded to the North Shore and probably throughout the state. In due time, but really focused on bringing leaders in small communities like Lowell, Lawrence, Haverhill, Lynn, bringing them together to talk about how folks can work together, getting them to work together on different projects, maybe outside of their comfort zone, and also giving them some professional leadership training, knowing that we're all pulling in the same direction. We're all in this together.
You mentioned Lowell, of course, our city, Lawrence, Haverhill, Lynn. They all have something in common, but they're all unique. What makes Lowell unique compared to some of the other cities that you're working with?
That's a great question.
Besides the fact that we're the best, right? You know, you have to say that. So
Well, I live in Haverhill, but I will say Lowell been a blast to get to know. Though, you know, some of the things that stuck out about Lowell to me when I was really doing a deep dive, and like I said, I live in Haverhill, I'm right down the river, so it's not like I was unfamiliar with Lowell. I'd been to Mill Number 5, and like I knew Lowell, and I've had a lot of fun in Lowell. But to really dig in deep and like peel back the layers, some of the things that really blew my mind was like the arts and culture scene here. The amount of small vendors that go to these sort of marketplaces and pop-up markets and like farmers markets. Tons of entrepreneurs, tons of great art and artists, and from all over. It's not just Lowell artists. This artists coming from North Shore and from Boston. It's a blast, and there's a lot of people here to meet. So
it's funny to hear Nate say that, Allison, because I don't know about you, but me, I kind of take a lot of these great things that Lowell has for granted because I've seen them and worked with them and lived with them like every single day of my life. But to hear outsiders say it, we really do have a lot to offer. The trick, of course, is expanding that, you know, that knowledge to other people to realize, hey, you know what? Lowell is pretty cool. We got to get some folks down here.
Oh yeah, I think that's something we do still struggle with as a city is getting the word out, right? Because we are like this kind of hidden gem. You know, when we talk to companies that are looking to move here, you know, once they get kind of in the door, they're sort of hooked and they're like, you know, oh my God, I can't believe we haven't considered Lowell before. Same with people that move here and decide to live here and raise their families here. I think there's a lot to like about Lowell, if I can say that again.
Make that a slogan, I think.
Yeah, there's just this, I don't know, there's just this kind of energy I think that we have here that, you know, is very captivating. And I think, yeah, it's our job to get the word out, like you said, and spread the news.
All right, so let's start getting the word out because you mentioned, Nate, Transformative Development Fellow, and I've been hearing a lot about a Transformative Development Initiative.
That's right.
That's what you're spearheading here in the city. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So it's a program at Mass Development that local partners and gateway cities can apply to. For Lowell in this instance, there was a group of local partners that got together and said, you know, we really want to focus on the Acre. I mean, these are folks who are already focused on the Acre. It's the city, Coalition for a Better Acre, the Housing Authority, Lowell Plan, Jeanne d'Arc Credit Union, Pinella, small business in the Acre. And these are all folks that are already sort of focused on that in their own way. So they got together as a partnership, applied for this program, and were awarded it. And the goal of the program is to focus resources and help build up the neighborhood, and not by bringing necessarily new things in. In economic development, you know, oftentimes people consider there's a lot of different philosophies, but one of the sort of old school way of doing economic development is this idea of like, oh, well, we'll bring a good thing from another community into this community and we'll make this community better. The Amazon, I remember when everyone scrambled to get the next Amazon headquarters. That was a great example of that, right? This is a totally different from that. I call it farming, you know, not fishing. It's a philosophy we talk about a lot. And it's how do we find the people, the businesses, the organizations that are already doing this good work, and how do we resource them to continue growing, to build their leadership capacities, to build their operational capacities. They already have a stake in the neighborhood. They already love the neighborhood. So how do we, as a big, you know, Mass Development's a big, you know, state organization, how do we resource those folks here on the ground? And really that's the idea.
That's such a great point because, you know, when the economic development where you're fishing, first of all, you have to find where the fish are. Then you have to convince them to bite onto your hook instead of somebody else's. You've already got them on the hook. If they're already doing business in the Acre or somewhere in Lowell, they know the great things. You just have to be able to help them expand, and that's a difficult thing for folks who in small business. It's having the resources and also the support staff to be able to do that. So what do you offer? What does Mass Development offer in terms of this? What do you offer, Nate?
So the fun part about the program is that it's so customizable and sort of tailored to each community. So really, I started in September, really just meeting with the partnership, talking about what their priorities are, what we should be focusing on in years 1, 2, and 3. It's a 3-year program. There's resources that we can put out kind of throughout this 3-year program. And it's really up to us as a partnership to decide how we want to program it, how we're going to deploy it, what are the projects we want to focus on. And so we're sort of at that stage now where we've got some priorities. We know we want to focus on, for instance, like the food business. When we talked about things that like blew my mind when I first came into the Acre was like the food businesses. There's 16, 17, 18 of them maybe just along the Merrimack Street and Market Street corridor of the Acre, which is, I mean, some communities would kill to have that amount.
In
of,
all
like,
different countries, right?
all different countries,
sort of,
and they're all good.
cultures.
That's the great thing. It's not just like, I mean, this is some mom and pop joints that are like really, really delicious. So food businesses was one of these like focuses where it was like, if you lost those food businesses, it would put the neighborhood back a decade. We'd spend 3 years trying to get them, get other folks. So focusing and making sure those places are doing well and succeeding and like continuing to thrive, especially in the wake of like inflationary pressure and the pandemic. And it's like, they've just been, it's been hard to be a restaurant owner.
Sure. Of course. Tell me about it. When you mentioned Merrimack and Market Street.
Yeah.
A lot of folks might think of that as downtown. You're talking about the edges of it, correct?
Right. So yeah, just to give folks like an idea of what the district looks like, and I put that in air quotes for folks who are listening, because it's got soft edges. We're not a big fan of like a hard boundary, you're in or you're out. It's really, our goal is to improve the upper Merrimack Street corridor of the Acre. So it's really from kind of the Worthen or Nabana, that sort of area, and all the way down to University Crossing. It's a 15-minute walk. So it's really a small area. And the idea is if you can focus, if as a partnership, we can all focus on this area, and mass development can be a good partner in that. Over 3 years, you can have a noticeable impact on that community. So it's not downtown. It's very much for the Acre. That's about the range of it.
So what kind of tools do you offer? What kind of tools will mass development offer to these business folks? Are we talking about building property money? Are we talking about consulting services? Are we talking about all of it?
Yeah.
All the above.
Yeah. So what's great about mass development is obviously it's the state's economic development agency. It's the public arm of the state. They're the finance development bank and land bank for the Commonwealth. So they have all of these tools and relationships already sort of at their disposal. And they've historically done all these things, and that's put out grant programs or do work with banks to do loan programs. Really more complicated financial tools like, bonds and loan guarantees. And it can get complicated, but what having that backing allows us to do is we'll be putting out grant programs, and we can pair up good projects with existing loan programs, or if it's appropriate, create new ones if we see the need for it. And these are targeted, they can be targeted towards the businesses themselves. They can be targeted at the property owners themselves. They can be targeted at institutional growth in that area. What's great about the program is it's really up to us to decide what's important and what we feel is needed in that area. And then the hard work of like designing something that can help incubate that and grow it and foster it in the neighborhood. So it's sort of not to be evasive about the answer, but it's yes, all of those can be tools at our disposal.
Allison, I heard Nate talking about loan programs and getting the money out, and I thought, well, gee, that's what the Lowell plan and what Allison has been doing for a while. How does this jibe with what you're doing, and how does it let you expand on that at the Lowell plan?
We were one of the initial partners in the application process for this program, because we just felt really strongly that it's a great opportunity for the neighborhood, as Nate described, but also it's an incredible linkage between the university and the Pawtuckaville neighborhood to the downtown. So there's a lot of potential opportunity there to kind of expand that sort of access and awareness. And as you mentioned, on my other hat, the LDFC, we do a lot of lending, but also partners on this in this initiative is CTI's Entrepreneurship Center, which does micro lending and technical assistance for small businesses. And Jean D'Arc Credit Union is a key partner in the process. So it's about connecting these businesses with these different resources that they may not either be aware of yet or know about. And I think one of the things we're already kind of starting to do is create these sort of opportunities where we can sit down and kind of talk about, hey, we met with Teddy today. This is an issue he has. And then we can all brainstorm, how can we best assist them, whether it's a loan through us, through the LDFC, maybe it's a micro loan through someone else, but it's really about kind of getting all the resources together at the table so we can really be very strategic about what's the best way to support these businesses and property owners in the area.
The outreach component is going to be very important. And one of the challenges, you touted the great food and restaurants in that neighborhood. And most of it is ethnic food. And but one of the things I know growing up in a Greek family that started to launch a restaurant is it's hard to know what's available out there. So just getting the word out about what the two of you are doing is going to be a challenge in and of itself. What types of things do you have in place to make sure that folks who speak many different languages are able to learn about this? Who are some of your key community partners?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I want to thank you for bringing up community teamwork and UMass Lowell. They were been both really instrumental partners for us, getting to know the neighborhood and helping us understand, how to do some of this outreach. So as we know, Acre's diverse. In fact, that district, if my demographic knowledge is right here, I think it's the only majority Latino district.
Yes, it is.
In Lowell. So there's also it's particularly unique in some instances, but it's not by any means, only Latino. It's still a lot of Southeast Asian and Cambodian, and there's still that old white working class that's still there. So it's this range of people and cultures and ethnicities that really makes it unique. And my belief in terms of outreach is you got to go door to door. You got to meet people where they're at. Putting out an email blast is not enough, especially when the email blast is only in English. You got to be knocking on people's doors, and not just me. As the outsider and the white guy. Making sure that I am working with businesses that I've earned some trust with, or bringing along the city or other partners that can speak different languages. So that has been part of our sort of outreach campaign from the start, acknowledging that we've got to meet people where they're at. We've got to speak the way they're speaking, and make sure that we're designing programs that they know about and that they can access. Because if we're not doing that, then we're not affecting the neighborhood.
And I want to put a plug in for two groups. The City of Lowell's Economic Development Office is outstanding. I think many people
You're familiar with them a little, aren't you?
Many people know Maria Dickinson, who I think knows every business owner in this district by name.
Yeah.
And they know her. So having her available to, walk along and visit these businesses. Allie Carter, the new director there, is fantastic. And she's been getting out there to meet them. And then also CBA has a new,
like a business services wing.
Is on their team now, who is doing a lot of outreach. So there are groups that are living and working in that neighborhood that can help make sure that we're connected with everyone.
Yeah, you mentioned the Latino community, the Asian community. That we like to brag here in Lowell. We speak 70 different languages at last count, and I'm going to tell you, most if not all of those 70 languages have somebody living in that Acre neighborhood. That's the neighborhood. That to me, that's Lowell's true neighborhood, or the neighborhood that's indicative of the city. We're chatting with Allison Lamey. She's to the right of your TV screen there. She's the executive director of the Lowell Plan. Nate Robertson with Mass Development, part of the Transformative Development Initiative. They call you a fellow. You need a more powerful sounding. Fellow sounds like you're just this.
It's a little academic,
affable chap that I'm going to find in London or something.
Yeah.
But we're going to work on getting you a good title. Money. Let's talk about how much money is Mass Development and all the different partners involved with this. How much are they willing to invest as part of this initiative?
So they've invested a significant amount of money into Transformative Development Program. And this is a program that's available for gateway cities across the state. We're in 13 districts now: Holyoke, Springfield, Pittsfield, all the way to Cape Cod, and then up here to Lowell. So it's a program that they believe in. And it's a program that has shown some success, a great deal of success in communities that they've already worked in. In terms of what the total figure is, I had to crunch some numbers and get back to you on that one. But it's a program that they believe very strongly in, and have made some significant contributions. The secret sauce of the program is really having what they call sort of boots on the ground. So I'm going to be in Lowell, in the Acre, for 3 years. That's my focus. I'm not going to other cities. I'm not going to the Boston office, 4 or 5 days a week. I'm here in the community, meeting with folks, talking with partners, walking the streets, and designing programs. So to do all of that work, to set up funding for 3 years, so we can set up good programs, to do this level of outreach, and to have somebody who's here and present. Yeah, it's a significant investment, but I know mass development, and I know also just as a economic development practitioner, I mean, it pays dividends. You see the changes in neighborhoods, and you hear from folks who've worked with TDI in the past. They're the best endorsements of the work we're doing when you get to talk to a small business that has worked with mass development and the local partnerships that are here at the table, and they say, no, you guys were there, you were helpful, you helped me. You sat with me while I applied for this grant, or helped me access a new like a business coaching program that allowed me to expand my services. It's those folks that give the best testimonials to the money we're spending and the investments we're making.
Forget the home in Haverhill. We got to find you an apartment in Lowell, or at the very least a hotel
He's here a
room.
lot.
So in terms of outreach, you've got actually a big step in that. Again, we're recording this on Monday, January 30th, but as we like to say here at Inside Lowell, we provide the news and information on your schedule, not ours. So whenever you're watching this, you actually have an event plan, a chance for people to come out and meet and learn more?
Yeah. So this is going to be our launch party. It's February 9th. It's 4 to 6, and it's at the Armand Mercier Center in the Acre.
Right, that is the heart of the
heart
Acre,
of the Acre, right? So it's and that's a Lowell Housing Authority building. So they were gracious enough to allow us to host our launch party there. So there'll be food, of course, from the Acre. We'll have some of the Acre's best food there. You get to hear from the partners about what work we'll be doing, and we'll be, sort of announcing what our priorities are, and also asking for community input. What they see in the neighborhood, what they want to see in the neighborhood, how they want to see themselves in the neighborhood. And I say that because, again, going back to this arts and culture scene, the mural efforts that happened here, Art Up Lowell, that Project Learn helped spearhead, that's happening again. And I know they're doing a community input session. So like literally there's opportunities for the community to see themselves represented in their neighborhoods, to see both local and regional artists come and put their stamp in these communities, quite literally in some instances. So we want to hear about what folks want to hear, or what folks want to see, and what they value and what they hope for. So,
and how soon do you start taking ideas, proposals to make them happen? I know you've got a couple of like seminar or workshops that I think I signed up for one. I think it's tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, what types of like how do people get the ball rolling on this? If somebody's watching this and thinking, this sounds like something I want my business to be involved in, or at the very least, I want to have some input in what I see in my neighborhood. How do they get the ball rolling?
Well, I would say definitely come down to our launch party. You can talk to me. You can talk to any of our partners. One-on-one conversation, I think, is the best way to get to know each other and get to share information. Also, you can email me at any time. It's Robertson, like Robertson, at massdevelopment.com. I've got my number out there too if folks want to call, but I start with a conversation. I'd love to learn if it's a business that's looking for, are there programs available? How we could, as a partnership, help meet them where they're at and help them expand. If it's just a resident who wants to see improvements in their neighborhood, we'd love to hear what they want to see. And everybody in between, So I would say, come to our launch party. If you see me walking around, and you'll see me walking around, I'm usually on the phone, but flag me down. I'm happy to talk.
All right, now you recognize the face. And Allison, if folks want to, I'm sure you're going to be kind of working hand in hand with Nate a lot. How do folks get in touch with you and find out about all the other things that the Lowell Plan is involved with?
Sure, yeah. Well, they can email me as well at allison@lowellplan.org. They can also check out both of our websites, lowellplan.org or ldfc.org. And the ldfc.org website lists all of our lending services and tools that we offer to both small businesses, large, or property owners.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Allison Lamey, Nate Robertson, thank you so much for joining us here in our Inside Lowell studios. As you said, you were going to get to see you an awful lot in the next 3 years.
I'll be back soon.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you,
thank everybody for watching the Inside View. InsideLowell.com is the web address. All sorts of stories out there, whether it's news, politics, business, community, entertainment. We even do a little bit of sports, and we do some goofy stuff as well. Check it out. As we like to say, if Lowell is your home, this is your place. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll be in touch about a different topic at some point very soon.